The USMNT has had a lot of coaches come and go throughout their time and existence, dating all the way back to 1916 to the father, or one of the founding fathers of U.S. soccer, Thomas Cahill, being the first ever USMNT coach. But we're not going to go that far back or cover everyone from the first manager all the way to today's manager or coach, whatever you want to call it, for two reasons. One, there's so many to cover and there's so little information on all of them as well that it's just like, it'd be a 4-hour video. Second of all, none of you guys are even fucking alive at that time. So what do you guys even like? I can't even relate to that stuff. I want to cover it. Well, first of all, if you were alive at that time, what's up, old timer? Welcome to the channel. Second of all, I want to cover the last recent 7 coaches for the USMNT. So it's dating back as early as like 1991. So anyone from 1991 up until today's year, we're going to cover those coaches. So the way we're going to rank them from worst to best is based off success with the USMNT, what they won, like in terms of trophies or tournaments or World Cup appearances, and accomplishments they had, and also just based off my opinion of them. So if you don't like my opinion of that, dude, I can't help you. Just comment down below. It'll make you feel better. And while you're down there, subscribe and hit the like button as well. So without further ado, let's just get to it. Before we get started, though, of course, follow me here on Twitter. You guys can follow me at kickingitwithdrew. And, of course, I have Instagram as well if you guys want to check me out there. I don't post too much there. I really am mostly on the Twitter game. So be sure you guys follow me there to keep up to date with all the Kicking It With Drew thoughts and opinions. All right, here we go. USMNT coaches ranked from number 7 being the lowest, working our way up to number 1. Of course, just my opinion. So if you guys have a panic attack, just let me know down below. Type it in the comments. And while you're down there, be sure you hit that like button as well. Let's try to get at least like 6 to 9 likes. Let's just try that for this video. So number 7. Here we go. Dave Saracen. Why? Well, because he really wasn't technically a full-time coach of the USMNT. He was an interim manager. And if you don't know what that means, basically, he was a placeholder to take charge for the time being while USMNT Federation kind of found someone else to take charge full-time. So that was his responsibility. And, of course, being Bruce Arena's assistant for the second time at the national stage, it just made sense to have him take over as a placeholder or interim manager, if you want to put it that way. And he did take charge from 2017 all the way to 2018, taking charge of 12 games, recording 3 wins, 4 draws, and 5 losses, leaving him with a 41.67% win average. So not too bad, but not that good. Sorry, Dave. But, credit to him, he did take over the USMNT in a very dark and strange time. It was like a time where we didn't know what was up, what was down, because we were just eliminated from the World Cup. We didn't know which way U.S. soccer was heading. But Dave Saracen, was tasked with finding USMNT's footing, finding a good future, and especially finding a young core of players to get them ready for the next World Cup cycle. And he did that. He gave debuts and a lot of opportunities to a lot of players that we see today, we love today. Players like Weston McKennie, Timothy Weah, Zach Steffen, Josh Sargent, and Tyler Adams, just to name a few. So those guys were brought on because of Dave Saracen, but he's here at number 7. So taking it back to the 90s now, for all you old heads out there, this is going to go to Steve Sampson, who took charge of the USMNT from 1995 to 1998, taking charge of 62 games with 26 wins, 14 draws, and 22 losses, leaving him with a 53.23% win percentage. So that's not too bad, not too shabby there. He did lead the USA to a surprising 4th place finish in the Copa America 1995, which included a freaking 3-0 stomp over Argentina, which, obviously Messi wasn't playing at that time, but nonetheless, it's Argentina. Argentina has always been a powerhouse in Copa America and always in, of course, South America. That tournament also included a 2 victory over Mexico in the quarterfinals. So that's a surprise. When that happened today, we beat Argentina, 3-0, and then we beat Mexico in the quarterfinals in Copa America, and then, got eliminated. I would not be too upset. Copa America is a tough competition. It was probably tough back then as well. The coach the USMNT to a 2nd place finish for the 1998 Gold Cup, where we lost 1-0 in the final to Mexico. But that tournament did include a 1-0 victory in the semis against none other than Brazil, who at that time was bringing their so-called A-team to that tournament because they were the invited guests to the Gold Cup, which is pretty cool. Copa America does invite other countries to play in the tournament, which is pretty cool. I wish Gold Cup still did it to this day, but Nonetheless, we lost the final 1-0 to Mexico, but at least we did beat Brazil on the way to the final. Steve Sampson was also in charge of a very, very disappointing 1998 World Cup for the USA, where we lost all 3 games in the group stage, scoring only 1 goal thanks to Brian McBride. But other than that, it was a disappointment. Sticking with the 90s, at number 5 is Bora Milutinović, who was in charge of the USMNT from 1991 through 1995, managing 96 games with 30 wins, 31 draws, and 35 losses, leaving him with a 47.40 win percentage. He was hired at a time where U.S. Soccer Federation was looking for a foreign manager to take charge of the national team because, as they quoted and said, that American managers were not able to prove their worth on the international stage, which can't blame them there all the time. But that was good because he did win us a 1991 Gold Cup, beating Mexico 2-0 in the semifinals, and of course beating Honduras on penalties in the final to win the trophy. He did have a pretty successful, I'd say, at the time, 1994 World Cup, which was hosted in America. He made it out of the group stage finally, and losing 1-0 to Brazil in the round of 16 to be eliminated. But this was a success in itself because the USA had not reached a knockout stage in a World Cup since like the 1930s. So that was a big win for USA Soccer at that time, especially a country where soccer at that time, like I said, was not really so popular like it is today, and still not that popular if you think about it. He did manage to give us one of our worst losses in the Gold Cup final against Mexico. In the 1993 Gold Cup final, we lost 4-0 to our arch rivals Mexico to have them watch them lift that trophy, which who cares about that? We beat them Nations League. Fun fact about Milutinović is when Alexi Lalas, of all people, with that big-ass hair back then, first showed up to train, Milutinović told him to get a haircut or get off the team. That's pretty funny. If I ever interview Alexi Lalas, I'm definitely going to ask him about that experience. So the U.S. Soccer Federation fired Milutinović, though, on April 14th, 1995, because they wanted someone who could be a coach and an administrator at the same time, and he wasn't fucking with that. He was like, you know what? I don't want to be a coach and administrative duties. I'm out. So they kind of parted ways there. Let's bring it back to the present time for our boy, Gregg Berhalter, at number 4. Gregg Berhalter, of course, taking over in 2018 from Dave Sarachan to currently still, at the time of recording this video, he is still the USMNT coach. He has played so far, or coached so far, 29 games, giving us 20 wins, 3 draws, and 6 losses, having the biggest win percentage here out of everyone on this list with a 68.97% win percentage. That's crazy, but we'll get to it a little bit in a second. He won us the first ever Nations League in dramatic fashion up against Mexico. That was, if you watch the channel, you guys know that was an insane game. One of the best games I've ever seen in my life. One of the best Mexico-USA games ever. He helped us do that. He did have us thump our way through the 2019 Gold Cup, only to lose 1-0 to Mexico in the final, which was very heartbreaking, very disappointing. But other than that, Gregg Berhalter really has not really been tested too much outside of like Gold Cups or like regular friendlies with CONCACAF nations or like small European teams. I still want to see more from Gregg Berhalter. I know a lot of you guys do as well. He worries me a lot tactically. The best thing about Gregg Berhalter, though, is he's great at recruiting dual nationals, so no one can ever take that away from him. He's got Sergio Dest, Yunus Musa, like players like that. He's got to come over to our side, which is awesome. So credit to Gregg Berhalter there, but I want to see more from him. But nonetheless, I think he is doing okay so far. So these next 3 are like, I feel like a lot of people have their own opinions that are probably interchangeable to if you ask, depending on who you ask. But this is my video, my opinion. So at number 3, I have Jürgen Klinsmann. Yes, he took charge of the USMNT in 2011 to 2016, coaching 98 games, getting us 55 wins, 16 draws, and 27 losses, having a 64.29% win percentage there. He did win us a 2013 Gold Cup. He made it to the round of 16 in the 2014 World Cup, losing to Belgium in dramatic fashion as well. We were one Lewandowski goal away from beating Belgium and going to the semifinals. Never forget that. He got us 4th place in the 2016 Copa Centenario, which is basically like another Copa America, but it was like in America. So I think we did okay there. We got eliminated by Argentina, which really is not. Messi was on fire that game. He's got a beautiful free kick. Nothing any coach can do to stop Messi, especially when your team is subpar at that time. He did have a big controversial decision for the 2014 World Cup, leaving out Landon Donovan, our first Golden Boy, out of the roster for the 2014 World Cup. A lot of people had, their opinions about that. People liked it, people didn't like it. Maybe would have Donovan have made a difference in the game against Belgium? Maybe. I don't know. That's up to fate to decide if we ever can travel back in time. But after a very poor start to the 2018 World Cup qualifying round, Jürgen was fired and relieved of his duties as USMNT coach because we were like losing games at home to Costa Rica, losing games to Mexico. Like we were not in a good spot, and it really didn't get better if you think about it in the long run. He also was a fan of having our American players play outside of MLS, which is a lot of us really do like that as well. But of course, he had a little beef with MLS, and I think he was okay though. He wasn't the best manager, but nonetheless, I think he was third place here. I think it's good for him. Okay, here we go. The final two. And if you made it this far, prove yourself right now as a true fan of the Kicking It With Drew channel. Comment down below. What is your favorite meal to eat? Mine is chicken parm. It's all about the breading, the crispy chicken. Don't ever fucking give me a grilled chicken parm. I'll kill you. A crispy, nice chicken parm with some pasta. Ooh, I'm a chicken parm whore. So let me know down below. Then I'll know you're a true fan of the channel. Thank you for making it this far, by the way. And if you didn't hit the like button yet, hit the like button as well. So number 2. It is Bruce Arena. He had 2 spells in charge of the USMNT. He had the first one from 1998 to 2006. The second spell was 2016 to 2017. He took over right after, Jürgen Klinsmann. He was in charge of 148 games, averaging 81 wins, 35 draws, and 32 losses, giving him a 66.55% win percentage. He won, I think he was the most successful, most decorated manager we have on this list. He won us the 2002, 2005, and 2017 Gold Cup. Amazing. 3 Gold Cups right there under his belt. He had the 2002 World Cup, finished second in our group, defeated Mexico in an honorable 2-0 win in the round of 16. That's still remembered to this day, especially with all you old head fans out there. That is great. A great win right there. Especially our arch rivals taking him out of the World Cup. We would love that shit today too. He led the USA to the first ever quarterfinal finish in a World Cup where we lost 1-0 to Germany, who were eventually finalists of that World Cup. So not the worst way to lose. We made it to the quarterfinals at least. Not too bad. The 2006 World Cup though was a bust. We only had 1 point in the whole group stage, leading to another early World Cup exit in the group stage, which eventually led to his dismissal as a USMNT coach. And of course, he had that terrible, like I said earlier in the video, Trinidad and Tobago failure where we lost. We got out of the 2018 World Cup qualifying by losing that terrible game. But you know what? I feel like if you think about it nowadays, like maybe that was a blessing in disguise. And I feel like that's a good video topic to make. Yeah. All right. Bruce Arena, number 2. So number 1 has to go to none other than Bob Bradley himself. I know some of you guys might have a titty tag, but you know what? I don't care. Out of everyone on this list, to me, looking at his records, resume, it just makes sense to put him here. Ahead of Bruce Arena. Bruce Arena, like he obviously was maybe more decorated in terms of winning stuff, but that whole Trinidad and Tobago shit, and that 06 World Cup, can't fuck with it. Sorry. Can't do it. Bob Bradley was in charge from 2006 to 2011, taking charge of 80 games, winning 43, drawing 12, and losing only 25, leaving him with a 61.25% win percentage. He was the 2007 Gold Cup winner, beating Mexico 2-1 in the final. He was also in charge of the USA during that 09 Confederations Cup, which was a crazy tournament. We got farther than anyone ever thought we would. We finished second place, beating eventual World Cup champions and just World Cup fucking dominators, Spain, en route to the final against Brazil, where we were 2-0 up against Brazil at halftime. And then, of course, we just could not hold on, and we did lose that game 3-2. But, dude, what a freaking tournament. If you guys want to know more about the tournament, I did make a video on that whole tournament. I broke it all down for you guys. I'll leave that down below in the description box, so be sure you guys check that out after you leave this video. It's unreal. If you're not familiar with that, it's unreal. He was in charge, obviously, of the 2010 World Cup. He topped the group stage with teams like Algeria and England in there. The Algeria game, obviously, that crazy last-minute goal from Landon Donovan to get us through, top of the table, and through to the next round. But we did lose in round 16, 2-1 after extra time against Ghana, our arch rivals again in another tournament. But what are you gonna do there? He did give us another really big loss in the final Gold Cup final against our arch rivals Mexico. In the 2009 Gold Cup, we lost 5-0 in the final. But granted, in hindsight, this tournament came immediately right after the 2009 Confederations Cup. So we had our A team for the Confederations Cup and our second string weak ass B team, which is a really weak team if you look at the roster. In this tournament, but still no reason to lose 5-0. They'll probably talk about that forever. I'm sure a lot of L3 fans even forgot about that, but I just fucking brought it up again. But yeah, it was a much weaker team, but nonetheless, we shouldn't have lost that way. He also did lose the 2011 Gold Cup final against Mexico once again, where we were 2-0 up and then eventually lost 4-2 to lose the trophy to Mexico once again. And then after that, that led to his demise as a USMNT coach. That's all I have for you guys today. That is my ranking of the most recent USMNT coaches. What do you guys think about it? Do you guys think Bruce Arena should have been number 1? I just couldn't do it. But the whole Trinidad thing, I just fucking couldn't do it. I'm sorry. But let me know your thoughts down below. And let me know your ranking down below, please. As always, if you're not subscribed, definitely subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.